Okay, Madame la Secrétaire, commençons.
All right, Mr. Chairman. So we now have Mr. Andrew Moore from the original office in Montreal. Good afternoon. How are you? Can you hear us well?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, very well. So
Perfect.
you have 5 minutes, Mr. Moore. You may now proceed with your presentation.
Thank you for having me. My name is Andrew Moore. I'm an independent IT consultant and a so-called heavy user. The availability of affordable, unlimited packages is of great personal concern, and the outcome of this audience will ultimately affect the pricing and availability of those packages. Cher commissaire, veuillez noter que je suis aussi disponible pour répondre à vos questions en français. First, I believe that the reason put forth by Bell Canada and other incumbents for adopting usage-based pricing on the wholesale level are deceitful. Over-the-top services have been threatening Bell Canada's market share in sectors other than internet services, and usage-based billing was, from my point of view, introduced to their customers as a way to curtail OTT's growth. Some customers responded to that change by transferring their business to independents that were willing to offer them unlimited packages. This is, in my opinion, and the opinion of many other Canadians, the reason why we are sitting here today. Fact is, there is little to no correlation between what is being called usage and congestion. Congestion is a product of a surplus of data being transferred on a node relative to its capacity at a given time. Overall monthly usage has little to do with it. A user transferring 120 gigabytes in a month at a throughput of 0.36 megabits per second has little to no impact compared to the user who, every weeknight, during peak times, consumes 1 gigabyte of data at a throughput of 5 megabits per second, for a total 20 gigabyte a month. It is therefore illogical to implement any type of usage-based pricing to prevent congestion when usage has nothing to do with it. To put that into perspective, let's compare data pipes to a highway system, where the amount of data consumed is the distance traveled by its users, and the throughput is the size of the vehicle used. A highway is congested when too many cars try to use it for its current capacity. The distance traveled in a month by the road's users has nothing to do with its current status. However, the type of traffic on that road, small cars versus trucks, and its users' habits of using that highway at very specific times of the day, because they're going to work, for example, is what contributes to congestion. Congestion is simply a product of convenience. Putting a limit on how far users can travel or charging per kilometer will not affect the convenience of using it at specific times. You'll only see a decrease of traffic at off-peak periods, while your congestion periods are still very well congested. The end result? Heavy travelers will pay for casual travelers, which only use the service while convenient. Heavy users will be subsidizing casual users. Also, usage-based billing and the new aggregated volume pricing both calculate usage on a per-subscriber basis, when the subscriber itself cannot cause congestion. To me, this is a direct attack on the consumer who chose to leave Bell and isn't a decision driven by cost. Due to these problems, I believe that the industry standard 95th percentile billing method proposed by CNOC is the proper way to charge for wholesale last mile access. 95th percentile more accurately bills ISPs based on the real metric that drives congestion, throughput, and incites both the independent and the incumbent to invest in their network for two different reasons. The incumbent will be pushed towards increasing capacity in order to provide a way for the independent to consume more and therefore pay more. On its side, the independent will push towards controlling their spikes more efficiently to drive their costs down. It's a win-win situation. The decision that will take place at the end of this audience will ultimately affect the competitive forces into play on the retail market. Therefore, I feel compelled to remind the commissioners that competition is there to ensure that Canadians consumer hold the big end of the stick, not the big telcos. As demonstrated by Open Media's Stop the Meter petition, Canadians do not want metered internet, and a push towards a metered wholesale, regardless of the method of usage-based pricing used, will mean the end of unlimited internet in Canada. The Canadian footprint on the web, in terms of video content and other forms of content made by Canadians, and Canada's place in the digital economy depends on the access of affordable internet services. Therefore, I must remind the Commission of their mandate. The CRTC's mandate is to ensure that both the broadcasting and telecommunications systems serve the Canadian public. This is a direct citation from your own website. A decision for wholesale usage-based pricing would go against the interest of the Canadian public and could have grave consequences on the Canadian digital landscape. Thank you.
Thank you. Just so we make sure we talk about the same thing, usage-based billing, when you talk about, are you using a term generically or are you using it in reference to a specific billing method that Bell had put forward?
In fact, in my opening statement, I used the expression usage-based pricing for wholesale services.
Okay,
so it's really a broad term for the wholesale services.
Now explain to me on your thing, you say usage-based billing unfairly penalize so-called bandwidth hogs, which do not truly have an important impact on Bell's network. Why do bandwidth hogs not have an impact? I thought, we have been heard a lot here the whole week about installing a system measuring peak usage, because that's really what would best reflect how much something is being used. And surely peak usage would be driven by bandwidth hogs, so it would actually show up that way. So I don't quite understand your statement here.
Yeah, the reason why actually bandwidth hogs is in quotation in my document is because I'm more referring to usage hogs, people that consume a lot of data.
Yeah.
The thing you have to understand is that we do not consume bits, we do not consume bytes. On a network, what's being consumed is network capacity, which is measured in bits per second. The whole idea of usage-based pricing calculates on the wrong metric, which is why I support the 95th percentile. What you're using is not bits, bytes, gigabytes. What you're using is bits per second.
Oh, so that's what your point is. Okay, thank you. Tim, I believe you have some questions?
Really only one. Hi, and thank you for appearing. Your conclusion in relation to usage-based billing is that it unfairly targets users who do not significantly contribute to network congestion. The minority of users gets penalized for congestion caused by the majority who use Bell's network at peak time. So really what you're saying then is that it's because of its usage by many people at peak hours that causes the problem that needs to be solved.
Yes, a user by itself, and Bell actually said it this week, a user by itself cannot cause congestion. It is a huge number of users using the service at the same time which actually causes congestion. It's high usage by many users at the same time.
Yes. Please don't take it wrong, but this issue has been very extensively canvassed this morning and in previous days. And I don't have further questions of you because you and a lot of others are in agreement with you. So I don't think it would be useful to ask you any further questions. I'm fine with what you've said. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to add for the record, for everybody listening, that I'm not against the idea of paying as what you use.
Yeah.
I'm against the idea of the consumer being seen as using bits and bytes. That's not what we're using. What we're using is network capacity. That's measured in bits per second, which is why I'm against any proposal of usage-based pricing.
No, your message is entirely clear, and we have received it. Thank you.
Thank you. Michel,
Thank you.
you have one question?
Oui, merci, Monsieur le Président. Vous dites que vous êtes un consultant en ce qui concerne l'Internet. Avez-vous pris connaissance de d'autres modèles de prix de gros à travers le monde? Sur quelle base on facture habituellement? Est-ce que c'est les bits par seconde ou par l'usage, l'utilisation? Est-ce que vous avez certaines informations que vous pourriez nous donner là-dessus?
Oui, en fait, le standard sur l'industrie en matière de transport, c'est vraiment les bits par seconde. C'est la méthode du 95th percentile qu'on appelle, que CNOC a proposé. C'est le standard d'industrie. Ce qui se passe dans le cas de Bell Canada, c'est qu'il y a aussi le côté accès. Vu que oui, ils font du transfert de données, sauf qu'ils donnent aussi accès à une connexion à l'utilisateur même. J'ai aucun problème au fait que l'accès soit un coût fixe ou dépendant de la vitesse qui est donnée à l'utilisateur, sauf qu'en tant que tel, la méthode de transport, la période de transport doit être calculée dans une méthode qui est reconnue par l'industrie. Et cette méthode-là, c'est le Versatile Billing ou 95th percentile que CNOC a proposé.
Et est-ce qu'il y a d'autres expériences semblables à travers le monde, à votre connaissance? Sur cette base-là?
Pas ma connaissance personnelle. Pas ma connaissance, non, malheureusement pas. J'ai pas des informations là-dessus.
Alors, en tout cas, si jamais vous en aviez, je serais intéressé à en prendre connaissance.
Je vais faire ma recherche et je vais vous apporter ça la semaine prochaine.
Merci beaucoup. C'est tout, Monsieur le Président.
Bienvenue.
Thank you for participating. Those are all our questions, Madame la Secrétaire.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just for the record, I'd like to indicate Monsieur François-Xavier Richard Choquette nous a indiqué qu'il ne serait pas présent aujourd'hui. Il devait comparaître en personne et annuler un peu plus tôt cet après-midi. Alors, c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. We'll resume tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thank you.